Now, where did I put it? Here it is. Welcome to the Toolbox. Addendum. Tools for life and everything in between. Stuff you can use or toss. It's up to you. Hey everybody, welcome back to Tools for the Toolbox Addendum. This is addendum number 4. And today I'm going to talk about the past and the present and the future and all those things. So I'm going to start off with a question though. What are you doing right now to better yourself? Seems like a pretty simple question, right? What are you doing right now to better yourself? Could be listening to this podcast. Could be doing jujitsu. Could be learning another language. Could be anything, really, right? But really ask yourself the question, what are you doing right now to better yourself? And the reason I'm asking this is because if you don't have an answer to that question, what are you doing? I'm sure there's an aspect of your life that you don't really like right now. So what are you doing about it? Right? Like that's the basic question. What have you done about changing your circumstances? What have you actually done to be a better you? It's a tough question, isn't it? The reason I'm asking this question is because everything else in life depends on the answer to that question. Your work, love life, personal relationships, parenting, everything is built on how you feel about yourself. You don't like who you are? Okay, change it. You don't like who you're with? Okay, change it. You don't like anything about your life right now? Change it. It's absolutely possible. And any excuse that you come up with is a hindrance to yourself. The majority of people I know that don't want to better themselves or don't want to be a better person mostly don't want to be that way because of it's hard, right? Changing is hard. It's hard to do. It takes effort and time and the will to do it. It's going to make you uncomfortable. It's going to test you. It's going to test your will. It's going to test your desire. It's going to test every aspect of your psyche that is preventing you from being better. What it's going to test the most is how much you want it. When I was doing my training, the instructors used to ask us this all the time. We'd be doing push-ups or 5th-point flight procedure or something stupid, and they'd ask us, "Do you want to be here?" And at the time, when you're a recruit, you're sitting there like, "No, I don't want to be here. This is garbage. I don't want to sit here in the 5th-point flight procedure for another 10 minutes. This sucks." But what they're actually asking is, do you want the goal enough to handle what's happening right now? All of the pain and struggle and BS that is military training, that's what they're asking. Do you want to be a soldier so badly, or a sailor or an airman or whatever, so badly that you're willing to put up with all of the shit that I'm going to put you through? Is that how bad you want it? And there were people that quit. They're like, "No, I don't want it this bad. I don't want to be that bad." And there are other people that, "Yeah, all right, give me more. Give me more. I'll show you how much I want to be there." And the thing is, it gets better. right? When you sign up for the military, you go to basic and it sucks, and you do your element training next, and that sucks, and then you do your trades training and that sucks, and each one of those things builds upon each other. And you can blame everything else. You can assign shame on everything else based off of what it is you're doing. I could say, that instructor hates me, so that's why it's so hard right now. Or um, this other troop who's not pulling his weight, that guy's causing us all kinds of problems, right? You can blame somebody else. You can assign shame. You can say that that guy is fucking up and it's his fault that we're going through all this pain. But in actuality, fault is irrelevant. It doesn't matter. In order to make you a soldier, you have to go through those trials. You have to go through those trials together. That's the whole point of military training. So if that guy didn't fuck up, it doesn't matter because somebody else is going to fuck up. And when I was an instructor, it didn't matter if anybody fucked up. If I wanted to prove a point to you as a recruit, I would prove that point to you as a recruit, and I would make every single person in the platoon learn it, because that's my job as an instructor. But as a recruit, you don't see that, right? It's you're in the maelstrom of it. I was watching a TV show, The Expanse, and one of the things that the characters say is "Welcome to the churn," and that is when shit's just happening, and it's not personal, it's not directed at anybody, it just is. In combat, who gets shot and who steps on an IED and who doesn't is not a causal factor most of the time. It just is. It's war, right? That's it. There's no you could point and say, it's the Taliban's fault for sending us there, or it's the government's fault for having a military and sending us there and all this stuff. You can blame and you can assign shame and you can do all that shit, but it doesn't matter. What matters is the next step. What comes now? What can I learn from this situation, and what comes after? The next step is what's important. Unfortunately, the past, if you let it, will hold you where you are forever. If you let it, your past will hold you in the place you are right now, and it will not let go. And here's the trick. It's actually you that's holding on. It's not your past that's holding on. It's you. Imagine a giant ball and chain, a huge steel ball that's sitting right behind you that is your past. And it's massive, and there's no way you could move forward, and you're pulling on this chain and you can't get anywhere, and you're just so aggravated, and God, why is this happening to me? And what you don't realize is that chain is not fixed to you in any way. It's literally in your hand, and all you have to do in order to move on is open your hand. That's it. Let it go. Look at it. Learn what you can from it. Take a couple of the links of the chain with you so that you have a reminder and the lessons that you learned, and then start fucking walking. Move forward. What is the next step? Not what is happening right now. Not what happened 10 years ago. What's next? What's your next step? Now, for me, one of the things that I found really helpful was to have an outlet. So if you can have an outlet, that's great. Hockey, karate, jiu-jitsu, climbing, woodworking, forging, horseback ride, like anything. Find an outlet. Find something you love that you can pour yourself into. You don't need to sell shit. You don't need to hustle. You don't need to game. You just need to find something that you enjoy. And then enjoy it. It's exceptionally important. But here's the trick: you cannot be afraid to suck, because you're gonna. If you're starting something brand new, you're gonna suck at it across the board, no doubt. And you cannot be afraid to suck at something new, because that's how new experiences are made. That's how new things happen to you. That's how you make new connections. That's how you network with a different group of people. That's how you step outside of the comfort box that you're in and move forward. It's exceptionally important, because if you don't have an outlet, if you don't have a way to make new experiences, if you don't have a way to learn new lessons or to learn old lessons in new ways, you're going to stagnate. And then slowly you're going to fade away. And that's that. And the people around you don't want you to fade away, right? If you have kids, they don't want you to fade away. They want you to be awesome. They want you to be better. They want you to be your best self. And you are better for them when you take time for yourself. If you run yourself ragged for others without taking any time for yourself, what good are you? You're not helping anyone. You're just being, you're running at the bare minimum. You're being exhausted. You're being get angry. Like for me, if I don't have time to myself, I don't get time to go to do jujitsu, or if I don't get time to go to the range, or if I don't get time to do something for myself, I'm an asshole. That's it. Like 100%, I'm a dick. I can get through the day and I can do stuff for people, but I am a straight up asshole. You have to take time for yourself. It may seem selfish, but it's actually not, because I'm taking an hour or two or whatever every couple of days for myself. And then for the rest of that week, I have more energy. I have more more psychological capital to manage everything else, because I'm taking time. I'm investing in myself so that I can then use it for others. And I'm going to ask you another question. How much hope, wishing, praying, belly aching, how much of that do you require in order to change the past? Like, let's just say 10 seconds ago. How much whining is going to change the past 10 seconds ago? Probably none. How much praying is going to change what happened 20 minutes ago? How about a day ago? How about a year? What about 10 years ago? Can anything be done to change any of that? No. What's happened has happened. You have to accept that the past has happened. It's there, right? There are lessons that you can learn from it, but you don't need to hang on to it. You don't need to drag it along with you. You don't need the entirety of your past dragging along with you. And unfortunately, so many of us do it. I did it for years. For years, I did it until I learned one thing: it's your life, right? My life is my life. Your life, your life. For years, I went along thinking that my life was happening to me, that the rest of the world was going on and it was happening in order to affect me in some way. None of it was my fault. None of it was up to me. None of it was my doing. It was just happening and I had to deal with what was going on. And then what I learned is that it's my life. What I see as my limits are only my limits because I see them that way. I look at what capabilities I have and I say, well, I can and can't do that. The difficulty is that you can do whatever the hell you want if you're willing to put the work in, if you're willing to learn new skills, if you're willing to look at old problems in new ways, if you're willing to stop making excuses, if you're willing to prioritize things. Because when it comes to the past, shoulda, woulda, coulda, didn't. Okay, move forward. I missed my chance at being a Air Force pilot. Okay, cool. I can go get my pilot's license. Work my way forward that way if I really want to fly. I missed my way into special forces. Okay, fine. Guess what you can do? Private contracting. You can still gain the skill set. You can still gain the abilities to do that kind of stuff. You just have to do it a different way. I know guys that have no legs that run marathons. There's always another way to do it. Adapt, overcome, change the way you look at the problem. Don't bitch and whine about it. Just change the way you look at it. If you can't figure out a solution, ask for help. Look at somebody else that's done it. Utilize the answers that are around you, because other people have other answers and other people have different ways of looking at things. And that is the key. The humility to recognize that you don't know everything. And I know I harp on humility a lot, but it is extremely important, because your life is your life. And you can let your ego take over and tell you that you are better than everyone else, or that you know more than everyone else, or whatever, or you can learn and get better and grow a little bit, and then learn some more, and then grow a little bit more. Because again, it's your life. It's not your dad's. It's not your histories. It's not your pasts. It's not your brothers. It's not your heroes. It's not any. It's yours. Period. End of discussion. No one else's. No one else has control over your life except you. And that's it. It's your life. We are adaptable creatures. The human species as a whole is highly adaptable. That's why we cover the entire planet. We're able to withstand massive temperature changes. We're able to withstand huge climate swings. We're able to withstand all kinds of things as a species because of our adaptability, because we will change and become the fittest for that environment. That's what we do. Now, there's no one else out there like me. I am me. There's no one else like me. That's a good thing. There's 7 billion people on this planet, and there's only one of me. That's awesome. I'm happy about that. That makes me unique. That doesn't make me special in any way, because you know what? You are you. There's only one of you. There's only one of everybody. There just happens to be 7 billion of us. And why would you put up with half-assing yourself? Doesn't make sense to me now. I mean, for years, I definitely half-assed myself, thinking that, I was hot shit, but really I wasn't really putting the effort in. And now that I am putting the effort in, man, I have seen some massive changes, some massive growth. And that's important, because it's possible for everybody. You can be better. You can be a better you if you put the work in. Right? I can do nothing for 2 years. And guess what's going to happen in 2 years? Nothing. Zero zilch. Or I can do something. I can start learning a language. I can start learning how to do something new. And in 2 years, I'll be pretty good at it. So when I'm sitting at night watching TV upstairs on my couch being lazy, I can just sit and watch TV and be, dead to the world. Or I can do something else. So, I mean, right now I have Duolingo on my phone and I'm learning French. 5-6 minutes a day. Nothing. But in 2 years, I will know French pretty well. And I'll be able to have a conversation so that I can go on a trip to, say, Juno Beach or Vimy or any one of those other places that I've always wanted to go to because I put the work in. And all it takes is a little bit every day, just a little bit, 5-6 minutes. You want to do more? Do more. It's up to you. I would rather see everyone out there trying to be better and failing and trying some more 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 and then succeeding, or and failing and succeed. Like, you can put the work in and just try to get better. I would rather see that all day, every day, than watch somebody try and quit. Because you're not actually seeing what success feels like. When I started jiu-jitsu, I heard somebody say, don't quit until you've tapped someone the way you want. And what that meant to me was, like, you set it up, right? From the get-go. I got the takedown I wanted. I got the position I wanted. I utilized his movements and got to the submission that I wanted, and I submitted him with it. Right? And then you get up, and the feeling that you have of having absolute control in that moment, and you succeeded in that, and the amount of work that it took to get there, that's an amazing feeling. And if you quit before you get that feeling, what was the point? You're not doing yourself a service. You're half-assing yourself. And that's no good. You have to whole ass yourself. You got to use your whole self. Okay. But here's the trick. Start small. Right? You want to be an astronaut? Okay, cool. You're not going to be an astronaut tomorrow. Right? You need to go to school. You need to get your doctorates. You need to do X, Y, and Z in order to get through the selection process. And then you have to get selected for a mission, and then you have to do the mission. That's how you become an astronaut. Not walk down to NASA and be like, I want to be an astronaut. That doesn't happen. Right? It's the same thing when you go through military training. You don't walk in there and be like, I want to be a special forces assaulter. Let me in. No. No. You got to go through basic. You have to get through basic. You have to get through your training. You have to get to your trades. You have to get to a regiment. Then you have to take some time in that regiment to learn how the military works. Then you have to apply. And then there's selection. Then blah, 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 blah. It takes a while, but you have to start small. Get that victory. Learn from it. Build on it. Get another victory. You want to get a PhD? Cool. How about you start by applying to school, just in general? Take some classes. See if you actually can handle being in school. What about online school? That's another thing too, right? Like, there's so many things out there that you can select from to get started. You just have to start small. Build on the victory. Build on success. And you can do it. You can. Everybody can. You know why? Because you're not starting something new from nothing. You're starting from experience. And that's really important. All the experiences that you've had leading up to this point in your life should be stepping stones for something more. And they are. You just have to use them that way. All the pain, all the trauma, all the strife, all the suffering, all of the good times, all of the awesome times, all of the parties, everything can teach you something. And everything has a lesson that you can learn, that you can move forward with. When I look back at my life, and I look down at all the different links of chains from the different experiences I've had in the past, I have a shit ton of experience here. So if I start something new, I get to draw on all of that experience. Whether it applies or not, doesn't matter, but I can draw from that experience. I've been doing martial arts most of my life. When I started jiu-jitsu, I got tapped out by a 16-year-old girl that was 100 pounds soaking wet. And as a dude that's 6'6", 220, that was quite surprising, but it happened. And then it happened again and again and again until I was able to survive a round where I just didn't get submitted. And over time, I've been able to get through rounds where I've been able to get to positions that I wanted to get to. And I've been able to attempt submissions that I've wanted to attempt. And I still haven't submitted them yet. They're way better than I am right now. But I put myself out there. I used that experience that I had, which stated that I'm starting as from scratch, but I'm using that experience, which is don't quit, pivot, reset, readdress, reload, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to call it. But don't stop. As I said in my last addendum, when you're talking about inertia, if you stop, getting started is that much harder. But if you keep moving, if you're always moving forward, it is easier to continue to move forward. But if you let your past stop you, if you keep a hold of that ball and chain in your hand, the amount of growth you're going to get out of that is very minimal. So I implore you, look forward. View today. This is what's really important is you have today and you have a plan for tomorrow. And that's about it. Outside of that, it's a crapshoot because life happens. But if you have today, use today. Plan for tomorrow and then use today. If you're always using today and you always have a plan for tomorrow, then by the time you reach the end, you will have a lifetime of experiences that are worth that lifetime. And that's all I got for today. Really appreciate y'all listening. Make sure you subscribe and like and all that good stuff. Comments are always helpful. Really appreciate it. I'll talk to y'all later. That concludes this episode of The Toolbox. I want to thank you for listening. I hope you were able to use some of the information that was offered. I want to thank all those putting it on the line for us every day. Military, veterans, first responders, and public servants. Keep up the good work. I look forward to bringing you more tools for your toolbox. And until next time, stay open, stay humble, and stay focused. Chimo.